Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 5 of season 2 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory career mode. And here we are today at the Spanish Grand Prix. But quickly before we get into this one, I sort of want to make a quick apology as to why there was no career mode video yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure if obviously you guys have seen online, but Xbox had some sort of weird syncing issue, which basically meant that I could potentially access the game, but it was a bit risky and it was just not a risk I wanted to take. You know, there was the potential to, completely lose my save of F1 2018. So that's why there wasn't a video out yesterday from this career mode. There will be one out today. There will be one out today because you're watching it right now. But yeah, we're here today, round 5 here in Spain, and it's not a track I feel particularly confident at. It's not a track that I feel suits this car particularly as well. But we are slowly but surely making upgrades to this Williams car. You can see the aim for the 400 R&D bonus is P16, which obviously we should be able to do. We actually do have a new development part coming in, the redesigned brake ducts as well, which is obviously really useful moving into this weekend. As you can see, we are now still, well, comfortably ahead of Toro Rosso. We are really on the cusp of moving up past quite a few cars in this career mode. I really do feel between now and the end of season 2 could be really sort of decisive in this series. You can see coming through the end of free practice, and honestly one of the most successful free practice sessions I think I've ever had on this game. We're able to get 3 practice programs all on the purple score. That takes now up to 859 R&D points there. We need just over 1,000 for the next aerodynamic upgrade on the car, so hopefully we should be able to get that by the end of this weekend. As you can see though, yeah, we've got one upgrade that's just come in. The next one I think is 1,080 R&D points or 1,060. I can't quite make it out on that screen. But yeah, we are really close. Aerodynamics is something that, as I've said before, I really want to focus on during season 2. So obviously that is going to really sort of help the car over the next few rounds. But moving into qualifying, unfortunately, it was a very damp affair. I set up the car completely for the dry. Qualifying I didn't really feel was going to be all too important here. But unfortunately, as we come out of the final corner, we're not going to be able to make it through into Q2. In fact, it's going to be stone dead last. We only were able to get one run in. I do feel the track conditions, we probably went out at almost the worst time possible there. So, unfortunately, yeah, last place, but as I said, nothing that I'm going to worry about too much. My teammate Lance Stroll will actually make it through into Q2. They're ahead of both Force Indias, both Toro Rossos, and myself. But honestly, I'll take that. P20 will get a fresh engine in the car as well as we move into this Grand Prix, and hopefully, obviously, therefore, we'll be ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. So here we are then, ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. As I said, we've got a fresh engine in the back of this Williams car, but no gearbox change, so obviously we will be holding on to my original grid position here in Spain. Last season's race was quite a weird one. It would actually be Kimi Räikkönen that would take the win comfortably over his teammate Sebastian Vettel. But, well, Seb, he's 4 from 4 so far in the F1 2018 Season 2, and I'm sure he'll try to look to make it 5 from 5. Will anyone be able to stop him in this season? It is looking less and less likely every week we go by. But yes, Seb would come through for P2 last season ahead of Verstappen, Bottas, Alonso, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sainz and Hülkenberg would round out the top 10, and I think it would actually be Lewis Hamilton facing a retirement in that race. We would be just well and truly off the pace, unfortunately. That race, it was a tough Grand Prix for myself. Just lack of pace, lack of any sort of good strategy, which, we'll certainly try to look to rectify in Season 2. But yes, Seb, a 37-point lead moving into round 5 of the season. Absolutely dominant so far in this championship. Ferrari have got near enough double the points of Mercedes as well in the constructors as well. It really doesn't look like the Season 2 has worked out too well for Mercedes. They find themselves much closer to Red Bull than they find themselves to Ferrari here. But qualifying would once again tell a slightly different story. It would actually be Lewis Hamilton on pole once again here, just 29 thousandths clear of Seb, so clearly he can make up the car deficit on one lap pace, with Ricciardo and Bottas rounding out the second row there. Räikkönen and Verstappen in 5th and 6th, with Hülkenberg, Alonso, Grosjean and Magnussen rounding out the top 10. Charles Leclerc would just miss out, but gives him the option of an alternate strategy ahead of Sainz, Van Dorn, Ericsson, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Brendan Hartley, myself, and then Perez and Lance Stroll, both with grid penalties there. But yeah, clearly, obviously, Force India, they've had really good one-lap pace in the opening rounds of the season. Doesn't appear to have worked out today in Spain.
position is not as high as we had hoped, but push hard in the race and hopefully with a bit of luck we can finish with a positive result.
So the team, yeah, not, sort of can understand why we had such a rough qualifying here. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. What a race we could be in store for, and it's 5 lights, and away we go, and not off to any good start there. There was a huge amount of wheel spin over and over there. We got absolutely terrible first, second, and, well, if there's a third phase, we absolutely bottled that as well. Down in towards turn 1, though, we are going to think about trying to have a look to my outside of my teammate Lance Stroll, but we just have to slot in behind going through these first couple of corners. Lance will try and swing it up the inside of Sergio Perez here. Well, 10 seconds into the Grand Prix, we've already had a car failure. Well, that was just really, really unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get that fixed over these next couple of laps there. Yeah, the DRS has already failed, which is quite impressive even for this Williams car. But as we come through the next couple of corners here, we've actually got Lance actually getting squeezed out by Sergio Perez here. We're going to try and go for a bit of a switchback move here on the exit of the corner. Are we going to be able to have a sniff up the inside? Yes, we do, and then up the inside of Brendan Hartley as well there. So a nice cheeky double overtake. We weren't actually intending to jump Hartley there, but we sort of found ourselves on the inside, and we will certainly take that position there. Now, lap 3, we're starting to close up to the back of Sergio Perez here, and obviously last season, if you guys remember, the opening few laps, we just really dropped off the pace of absolutely anyone else here. But Season 2, this wasn't going to be the same story, it really does go to show, although the game, it doesn't look like it just yet, we have really started to build a car that can fight in the midfield here as we come through this final sector. A bit of Constantina up there, we're going to send it down the inside of Sergio Perez. An ever optimistic move by myself, round the outside on the exit of the chicane there, and that will move us up into P17 of this Grand Prix here. So I will certainly take that move, and now, obviously, we're now in a bit of a Force India sandwich in this race. We can see Ocon is actually going to try and look up the inside of Pierre Gasly, and I think he's going to be able to make that move work going through the first couple of corners here. No, Toro Rosso does hold on, and obviously Toro Rosso still need to score their first point in this championship. To the end of lap 6, the start of lap 7, obviously the first of the runners would make their opening pit stop of this race onto a set of these soft compound tyres. We've got Brendan Hartley flying past me down towards turn 1. We were too busy worried about where Sebastian Vettel would appear there. We send it back up the inside, a very aggressive move from myself, but we will now re-inherit P13 of this Grand Prix here. And at this stage of the race, we were really, really considering doing the one stop here. You can see Hartley, though, 1 lap later, is going to try to look up my inside here. I think Perez is going to be able to try and look to the outside as well. We've got Verstappen exiting the pit lane. This got all very, very congested very, very quickly there. We tried to take a sniff up the inside, but unfortunately not going to be able to make it. Well, my teammate Stroll actually dives it up my inside there through turn 2, and that has been contact between the pairs there. The VSC has been called out after all that. Well, that got very, very carnageful very, very quickly there. We'll have a quick look as to what did happen with my teammate Lance Stroll. I think Max Verstappen just behind is probably going to have the best view of this. You can see coming through turn 1 there, we do definitely give him a bit of a squeeze. As we come through turn 2 though, unfortunately, Lance just gets wedged out over that curb. Unfortunately, cannot get the steering lock in the way he would like. And you can just see understeers straight into the side of me there. Definitely, I could have given him a whole lot more room there. But on the other hand, I don't really think he should have kept the nose in over that curb there. So a very, very unfortunate move for Lance Stroll, which is, well, it's going to help me out a little bit with that VSC there. But yeah, unfortunate. Hopefully that's not going to, well, carry any too much negative momentum through the rest of the season there. But on to the end of lap 10, the yellow flag's out. We've actually got a car retiring from this Grand Prix, and it's Lewis Hamilton there from the race lead. A very, very unfortunate result for him, obviously. Well, so far behind Sebastian Vettel after the opening few rounds of this season, and that's going to make his, well, season just that one step more difficult there. He retired in last season's Grand Prix. Bottas as well, though, has got issues. So both Mercedes there with issues on lap 11 of this Grand Prix. No idea what's happened to Bottas, but Lewis Hamilton is definitely out of this Grand Prix. That's so unfortunate for him. That's going to mean that he's going to be even further off Sebastian Vettel in this championship there. But out of lap 14, and we're going to come in for our one and only pit stop of this Grand Prix. Able to take the soft tyres quite far in this race, almost obviously up to halfway stage of the race there, which I will certainly take. It's actually Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc that would make the one-stop work in last season's Grand Prix. But coming in then, hopefully we'll be able to get off to a nice clean pit stop there. 2.1 seconds, absolutely phenomenal job by the Williams team. But we're going to be close with my teammate Lance Stroll as we come out of the pit lane here. Well, disengage the pit limiter there, get a bit of a squirm on the exit there, but we will drop the place to my teammate Lance Stroll as we come out of the pit lane. But we're going to get all over the back of him through turn 1 and turn 2. They lose the back end over the curbs. That was not what we wanted. Fortunately, we're able to keep it pointing in the right direction. They're very, very lucky there to actually get the car going in the right way. And well, hopefully, over these next couple of laps, we should be able to close to the rear of my teammate Lance Stroll. On to lap 20, though. A lot of drivers now making their second and final stop of the Grand Prix. We're going to move up now into P12 of this Grand Prix. Hopefully, we'll be P11 when my teammate Lance Stroll does make his pit stop here. So clearly, at this stage of the day, the one stop has really, really looked to pay off here. You know, not many drivers able to make it work as Lance Stroll dives into the pit lane on the end of that lap. So we're now up into P11, one place outside the top 10. And obviously, if anyone does have any issues between now and the end of the Grand Prix, that will certainly be very, very ideal for us. And as soon as I say that, Esteban Ocon actually looked to be having some car issues here well, I'm not too sure if it was car issues or just damage on the front wing here, because he was going really, really slowly over these next couple of laps. The yellow flags are out once more, and it's Sebastian Vettel now who retires from this Spanish Grand Prix. Two big names out of this race there. Well, Seb, he's not going to be able to make it 5 from 5 there. You can take a little bit of solace in the fact that Lewis Hamilton obviously is already out of this Grand Prix. But two big names out here in Spain, obviously, and absolutely, well, it's one of those sort of races where you look back at the end of the season and think how much of that could have really been changed there. But yeah, gutting for Seb, not able to make it 5 from 5 there, but it will be his teammate Rixon that will inherit the race lead. We're going to be a bit cheeky though, and just as we get back into the green flags, we're going to send it up the inside of Esteban Ocon there. As I said, a bit cheeky, not potentially the smartest move in the world, but we now find ourselves up into P9 of this Grand Prix here, and I would certainly take this. We come to the end of lap 29, and honestly from there, we were just able to hold the gap. It would be Ericsson next up behind me, and obviously that Sauber isn't too much quicker than myself on a race pace there. But onto the final lap of this Grand Prix, Kimi Räikkönen would make it, well, the 5th win in a row for Ferrari in this F1 2018 Williams Season 2 there. It would be his 2nd win here in Spain in a row there. A fantastic job by the Finn, you know, able to keep the car, you know, obviously working to the end of the race there. But the two guys on the front row, the two guys that were leading, would drop out of this Grand Prix there. But yeah, Ferrari, 5 wins from 5. They will still be able to play more and more points over Mercedes here. Red Bull, it looks like, will come through for the 2nd and 3rd overall. But through the final couple of corners then of this Spanish Grand Prix, it has been a strategy masterclass by myself and Williams. Not a track that I expected to go well at, but as we come out of the final corner, it's going to be P9 in the Spanish Grand Prix, and 2, in my opinion, well-earned points to finish off a fairly mixed weekend.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So there we are then, the end of the Spanish Grand Prix, and quite an interesting race on the whole there. As I said, it'd be Kimi Räikkönen who would come through ahead of Max Verstappen there. So those two guys who finished on the podium last season would once again be on the podium there, with Daniel Ricciardo P3 and Charles Leclerc, just like Bahrain, an absolute masterclass of strategy, starting from P11, really just able to make that strategy work up to P4 at the end of the day. Unfortunate just to miss out on a podium there, but that is certainly really, really good for his championship standings. Fernando Alonso, I'm sure, will be very, very happy there at his home Grand Prix to come through for P5 ahead of Romain Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, Stoffel van Dorn, myself, and Valtteri Bottas would actually be piling on the pressure right towards the end of that Grand Prix. But yeah, Ferrari, 5 from 5. Will anyone be able to stop them in this championship? Rixon would be unfortunate to drop outside the points right at the end, as well as Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen. Ocon, obviously with those car issues, would drop way down the order towards the end of the race, ahead of Perez, Stroll, Brandon Hartley, and then obviously Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, both retiring from that Grand Prix. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, obviously Seb still leads the way, but now only 15 points clear of his teammate Kimi Raikkonen, who obviously was able to make the jump over Lewis Hamilton in that race. Verstappen would jump Perez, and Charles Leclerc would jump Grosjean, and Valtteri Bottas is all the way down in P9 after 5 rounds in this championship. Really, he's only actually had one sort of clean race, if you will, and I think that was last time out at Baku there. But Fernando Alonso would now move himself back ahead of his teammate Stoffel van Dorn inside the top 10, with Hulkenberg jumping myself and Ocon, but we'd be able to hold on to P13, which is obviously where we finished last season there, with Magnussen, Sainz, Ericsson all with points, and then my teammate and the 2 Toro Rossos still with no points on the board. Red Bull would jump Mercedes, and Sauber would jump Haas after obviously 2 very good races for those teams. But yeah, overall then, a very interesting Spanish Grand Prix, I think it's safe to say. Quite a few sort of, season-defining moments on the whole. But 2 points for myself, I will really take that. As I said, going into this weekend, I wasn't feeling all too optimistic about how I fared our chances. But Strategy Masterclass on the whole, P18 to P9, that fresh engine certainly did help out as well. And obviously next up will be the Monaco Grand Prix, which obviously should be a really good chance for us. Obviously last season, able to get my one and only podium of that season. Obviously I'd love to try and repeat that, but it's going to be highly unlikely there. But in terms of race points, there's 496. A fantastic job of keeping it completely clean, and obviously having a very good race out on the whole. The team very happy with that. We move slowly but surely towards the veteran respect rank as well, and obviously quite a sportsman as well. But that will mean that we're going to be able to get one more upgrade on this car as we move into the next Grand Prix. It's going to be another major upgrade there. The diffuser redesign layout, which, as you can have a look, is actually going to jump us above Sauber, Haas, and I think it's Force India there. And it really does go to show we are making waves in this car. It is just a couple more upgrades away from being a solid midfield runner. You can see once we've got this upgrade on the car, we're going to have like the 6th best aero, if I'm not mistaken. And well, with how many aero upgrades we're really focusing on over the course of this season, we could really have a strong aerodynamic car by the end of the year. But obviously, hopefully, the rule changes don't affect that in any negative way on the whole there. But there we are then, guys. That has been the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you're new around here and you don't want to see more, make sure you do like and subscribe. We're less than 400 away from 10k now, and obviously it would really help me out. But hopefully I will see you guys next time. Round 6 of Season 2, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. We're heading back to Monaco.